It is 6:47 in the morning. You are making coffee before he wakes up. Not because you want coffee, because you need the silence. You have been doing this for 2 years. Waking before him, measuring the air, deciding what kind of day it will be before he opens his eyes. You didn't always live like this. There was a version of you, not long ago, who was loud, who made plans without asking, who had friends she saw every weekend, who took up space without apologizing for it. That version of you met Daniel at a work event. He was the kind of man who listened, really listened. He remembered the name of your sister. He texted the next morning. He made you feel chosen. The first 6 months were the most loved you had ever felt. He called it devotion. You called it luck. Neither of you called it what it was. He cooked for you on Tuesdays. He left notes in your coat pocket. He told you, often and with complete conviction, that he had never felt this way before. You believed him. You were supposed to. The first sign was so small, you almost missed it. You went to dinner with a colleague. Just dinner. Just work. He called 47 times. When you got home, he was crying. He said he thought you were dead. You apologized. He was so relieved to see you that you forgot to be angry. That was the first lesson he taught you, without saying a word. Your absence hurts him. Your independence is a weapon you use against him. It didn't happen all at once. It never does. First, it was the late nights out. Too risky, he said. He worried. Then, it was the friendships. She's a bad influence, he said. He could see things you couldn't. Then, it was the job opportunity. Too much travel, he said. What about them? What about us? Within a year, your friends stopped inviting you. Not because they didn't love you. Because you always canceled. Because it was easier to cancel than to manage what came after. You started to see yourself through his eyes. Too friendly with other men. Too careless with money. Too emotional. Too sensitive. Too much. Always too much. And slowly, without a single moment you could point to, you started making yourself smaller. You stopped wearing the red dress. You stopped laughing too loudly in public. You stopped having opinions about things that might start an argument. You became very good at not starting arguments. He never hit you. You need to understand that, because for a long time, that was the reason you stayed. He never hit you. So it wasn't abuse. So you had nothing to complain about. So you were lucky, really. Compared to some women, you were lucky. That's what you told yourself. That's what he counted on. The night you decided to leave, you stood at the front door for 11 minutes. You know, because you counted. You had your bag. You had your keys. You had talked yourself into it 14 times that week. Then, his voice came from upstairs. Just your name, nothing else. And your hand dropped. Not tonight. You told yourself. Not tonight, week. Not this week became not yet. Not yet became maybe this is just how love is. Maybe this is just who you are now. The woman who wakes at 6:47, who measures the air, who has forgotten what it felt like to take up space. 3 months later, you told someone. Not a friend, not family. A counselor at a workplace assistance program. You almost didn't go. You almost convinced yourself there was nothing to tell. You sat down. She asked how you were. And something in the way she waited, really waited, made you tell the truth for the first time in 4 years. She gave what you said a name, coercive control. 2 words you had never put together before. 2 words that made the last 4 years suddenly make sense. And suddenly feel unbearable. Both at the same time. You left on a Tuesday. Not dramatically, not with a speech. You waited until he was at work. You packed one bag, just one, and you walked out of the door you had stood at 11 months before. This time, you didn't count. You just walked. She is safe now. She has her own flat. She has started calling her friends again. Some of them answered. Most of them answered. She still wakes early sometimes, still measures the air out of habit. But she is learning, slowly, that the air is hers now. All of it. Hers. Coercive control is one of the most underreported forms of domestic abuse. It involves no physical violence, which is exactly why it works. Isolation, monitoring, emotional manipulation, and financial control are its tools. If any part of her story felt familiar, you are not alone, and you are not too far gone to leave. The description box has resources. Use them. Her Vantage. Every week, you live her story. Then, you learn how she got out.